Let's get into our final conversation for the day. Na leo ni watu wa mathematics, tuna approach siku ya mathematics, yeah? So we're talking about Mathematics Day. We're adding curiosity and subtracting fear. Of course, our guest is John Mugo, Executive Director of Mizizi, Elimu, Afrika. Good morning, John.
Good morning.
It's good to have you in studio.
Yeah, it's good to be here to discuss mathematics. I know people of media are not language people. So don't ask me be friendly to,
do you know Julian
to
Zamboko?
Me in mathematics.
Do you know Julian Zamboko?
Do you know a fella called Julian?
do you know Julian Zamboko is in media?
You know what's sad, Eric, is we can only think of one.
Nilitaka kuwachokoza tu ili tuchangamkie mathematics.
Kabisa. Wacha ni welcome na the quote of the day.
Yes.
We usually share a quote and then you can tell us if it speaks to you, if you resonate with it. Very simple one from former Prime Minister of the UK, Winston Churchill, a wartime Prime Minister at that. He said, the price of greatness is responsibility. Mm-hmm. Very simply, the price of greatness is responsibility.
I think I resonate with it because we bear a big responsibility to our society. Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of the things, even the politics you're discussing, it's because we don't pay the price. We want to protect private interests without looking at the public good. When we look at our education system, there is a price to pay, I think, so that this generation that is in school today, and we are very fortunate that the children we have in school today is the largest number ever. And so it's such a huge opportunity to be having 16 million, Kenyans in learning institutions across the country. But what responsibility do we bear over them as the leaders? As like I'm leading Mizizi Elimu, an organization. So that quote, I think, if each of us reflected on what our responsibility, what my responsibility is to society, we can all have that Kenya. That will be good for everyone.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So on the 14th of March, if you wrote that date the American way, where you start with the month and then you go with the date.
So it would be 03/14/2026.
It would be 3/14. What is 3/14?
Wait.
Pi.
No.
So it's Pi Day.
Pi is 3.14, not 3/14.
3.14, yes.
Yeah, 3.14.
3.14,
I
314.
see what you mean.
Yeah?
Okay.
If you wrote it as a date 3.14.2.
Actually, because it's 3.142. Yeah. It would be Pi.
Right? So it's Pi Day.
Is that why?
If you look at it American way. Is that why they came up with
they
this
chose
day
the
being
date?
the International Day of Math?
I don't know, but let me ask you, how long did it take you to think about that?
I've just seen it. I've just read
it.
I've just read.
Then you should be a mathematics teacher. Because I think what mathematics teachers ought to do are such things: create connection to real life, to the problem you're having, not placing mathematics like this abstract thing, and saying mathematics is not for everyone. You know those things we used to tell students. I'm a teacher. Mathematics is not for everyone. You and especially girls. You do. So we learn believing that pi. And the way we were introduced to that 3.14 is like something that is so complex, but also because we didn't explain why 3.14, why 22 over 7 and not 21 over 7. Where did that 22 come from? So I think complicating things rather than making simple is where we fail as teachers.
You're very right.
Math as a subject. You're a teacher and you've been a teacher for many years, and now at Mizizi Elimu Afrika, which you'll tell us what you do, you just look at the country, Kenya, and all the people who go through education system. Is math a stress factor for students?
Math is, I think, the largest stress factor for students, because if you look even at primary school, look at a report card, where you are likely to see the lowest grade, even now in CBE, where you are likely to see, not meeting expectations, below expectations, is in math. And so we focus a lot on the frustrations at KCSE level, the 50,000 E's every year, and don't connect that to two things. One is that this problem is not starting in secondary school. It's way, way earlier, ECD. And then also, the implication on our country is big, because think about Mama Mboga. You have given somebody 3 patches of sukuma, and na amekupatia 500. So a lot of losses are being incurred when you don't give the right change. You know, unarudishia customer na yeye pia na shida, because some is not that they want to go with Mama Mboga's change, lakini hata yeye hajaelewa how much change I was to get. So ninapata tu ninaweka kwa mfuko. Within the month, the Mama Mboga can't connect where money is going. Kumbe ni mathematics.
The one that people talk about is the one in the matatu. Kuna 50 nipatie huyo, kupatie 20.
Kuna 50 nikupatie 20 urudishe huyu 10. You're like, but I want to challenge you kidogo on that one, because there's something about, and I wanted to get about even how arithmetic existed before education as we know it came to Africa. Because I know people who may not be able to even read or write in English or Kiswahili, but hesabu ya pesa watafanya. Ukimpatia hiyo 500 na it's 3 bunches of sukuma wiki at 20 bob each, atakurudishia the right change. What did maths look like before, what do I call it, Western education?
Before the academic.
Yes.
There was always math. Like now, the community I come from, we pay dowry. And so cows and goats, you know how many they are, you know how many you'll take, you know, even in Kikuyu language, there's a reference to, 10. We don't call 10, we call it a 9.
A full 9.
A full 9,
oh,
you know.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Which,
so
remind me to tell you all about a baker's dozen.
So there was always math, because math is also like now I'm looking at you have really nice NTV mugs. You should be giving people like me also. But I'm looking at those 2 mugs. One is taller than the other, but one is also plumper than the other. So it's possible that even though that one is higher than this one, the volume is the same. So you see differentiating quantities, taller, smaller, you know, bigger, and all that. It's actually math.
It is.
A taller tree, a smaller tree, they would be able to estimate how tall the banana would need to be before it starts, flowering. So math, actually, our life is full of math everywhere.
It has existed and continues to exist. And then now it comes into like our learning experiences. You start with your 0, 1, 2, 3, counting up to 10, and you progress and you progress and you progress. But somewhere along the way, people seem to find it hard.
You actually don't start with 0.
Oh.
0 is very hard.
Okay.
You start with 1. Yeah, 0.
In nursery school, you're not taught 0?
The concept of 0 is very hard.
Actually,
What is 0?
Nothing.
Yeah, and yet when you put 0 now after 1,
you're right. Actually, in nursery school,
it's
1,
you are putting nothing after 1, and now so 0. Let's start with 1 to 9.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah, you start with 1 to 9, and 0 comes later.
Okay.
But I think what we don't do is making it concrete, because by the time the child is coming to PP1 at 4 years, they actually have a lot of math. But now we treat the one that we're writing 1 as something that they don't even know.
Yeah.
And yet when I'm walking and then I'm joined by another child and we are playing together, you know there was 1 and there is 2. So we have to start concrete.
Right.
And these numbers and the writing and all that comes way later, after we already can can differentiate more and less, and 1 and more and all that. Yeah.
Right. I'm thinking through how much of it is that the concretization, how much of it is like skill from teachers vis-a-vis like the syllabus, because I'm thinking like in high school, I would attribute my passing math to a teacher. I don't think I was particularly good at math. Mr. Katelo, hi. I know he's a lecturer somewhere now. But it was just the fact that someone took the extra time to explain things and to concretize them and to even come in for lessons after the usual. And then things start making sense, you know? And 1 + 1 starts becoming 2 and not 3. So how much of why we think mathematics is hard is skill, in your opinion, versus the way that we structure our syllabuses?
Yeah, we have recognized the limitation in the curriculum and also in the materials, what we call teaching and learning materials. That, teachers are mostly teaching the way they were taught. Or you teach the way now you think you understand, but you don't go back to figure out when you are 4 years, what is it that you didn't understand?
Right.
So we skip many things, and so what we call now the instructional approach of introducing a certain concept, we don't pay a lot of attention to it. So while the math of ECD looks very easy, because everyone at our age can do it, but getting a 4-year-old to understand that concept, you have to come down to 4 years first, and then interpret it in a way that a brain of that age can get it. So the difficulty we have in mathematics is the curriculum, but it's also how the curriculum developers have helped the teacher to break down this to the level of the learner and to introduce it in a way that it connects with the experience of the learner of that age. And so we are now setting up a national program, numeracy at scale, that helps break this down, these concepts down in a way that the ECD teacher who was taught differently can now understand how to introduce these concepts to children of that age.
So if I just flip this thing a little bit, Mr. Mwalimu Mugo, I see math, numeracy, and language, or just understanding literacy, are as natural. It is innate.
Yeah.
As a human being, you grow up, you will have language. It's just that now the language will be what you're hearing that you pick up. As you will have numeracy, you'll be able to actually start telling that there's multiples, there are more than one, there are many, there's different colors. You can tell all those things, you can distinguish. It is the issue then comes with how it's presented.
Yeah.
Because by the time this 4-year-old is going to PP1, they already know 1, 2. I know I have so many people in my household. They can tell I have so many. However they're presenting it, they've been taught in language. They know we are 2 of us. They've already been taught in that language.
True.
Now how we present it, this whole thing that they know, we are presenting it in a completely different way from how they have known it.
1 + 1.
Now you're coming now to write it. And you're putting it as 1, and then you're putting a symbol, and you're bringing in a formula, and it starts becoming now, this is the only way that math shall be. I mean, I knew we were 3.
Yeah.
You had told me, go and bring me 2 mangoes. I went and brought you 2 mangoes. Then now here you are saying to me, now if you have 2 plus 2 is 4 mangoes. And you have to write it.
Yeah.
So is it, am I so far off when I say that the fact that we have to write math becomes the first challenge?
Okay.
It's actually the first challenge, because writing can't come first. Because by the time that child is showing up, they know that we have 2 eyes. We have numbers all over us.
True. Maybe not 10 fingers. Maybe not 10 fingers.
You have
several fingers.
Because things like multiplication is where now addition is not too bad. Subtraction also not too bad. But when you come to multiplying and dividing, now you lose a majority of the children. And yet multiplying is adding in groups. That when I have this, this is 5 and this is 5, and these are 2 groups. So now how you arrive at 10 becomes so hard.
It becomes a
Yeah.
whole different concept.
Because the way you're introducing that concept, and then sometimes also we are teaching them in PP1 in a language they don't speak, and that's
What do you mean
now,
I'm carrying the one? Carrying the one to where?
Or even
Yes,
English,
yes,
and
where-
they speak mother tongue. So this is a child who has
Yes.
grown up with mother tongue in Kikuyu.
Right.
Then now you've come to start say 1 + 1.
Yeah. Now plus. What is
This
plus?
plus.
So you lose them. So I think that element of language is also very, very key, because when we are giving now like what we call word problems, these ones where instead of being given numbers, it's a sentence.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then that sentence is in English.
Yeah.
And you don't speak English. So what are we testing? Is it math
Or is
Or
it
is it English?
So this now connections of a language, and that's why we need to be serious and go back to our language policy, because you cannot teach math or science or whatever in a language that children don't speak. You have to address the language issue first, then bring in these other things. Otherwise, as a teacher, you are speaking to yourself.
So how do you do that?
The way the language policy says is that when the child shows up in PP1, there is a language that they speak. This child has been having language since conception, because even while in there, they are listening. And then when they are born, people are speaking for 2 years, even though they are not speaking. They have language in them.
Yeah.
Because if you tell a 1-year-old, nenda ama niletee
Kuja.
it means they have language.
They do.
And so by 4 years, this child is fluent
In language.
in language. They can joke, they can do this, you can hold a conversation.
Right.
Now then you show up in PP1, and parents, I think we also put pressure on the system. We think that if the nursery school teacher, the ECD teacher, is teaching English,
That's the best.
that's the best education. We don't know that actually, even if you speak English at the age of 10, you will be fine.
You'll speak
Because
it.
you are not going to
Yeah.
England
Yeah.
so soon.
You'll be okay.
you will go to England
Yeah.
later. But that some of these
Tutapatana
foundational
tu sisi
concepts.
wote.
Yeah,
If you learnt it at 10, at 2,
Yeah.
We'll all meet.
Tumepatana. Some of us spoke English,
Yeah.
in our adulthood. So the introducing these things in the language that they come speaking, and that's what we call the language of the catchment area.
Yeah.
Because
I like
English.
that, the language of the catchment
Yes,
area.
yeah. Because even in Nairobi there are catchments.
They're different, and they're different
There
languages.
are places where mother tongue is English.
Yep.
In this city, and that's fine. But there are other places also where it's Kiswahili.
Yep.
In the rural areas now, it varies.
Yeah.
Where we have mixed ethnicities, it's probably Kiswahili. So if you introduce now these concepts in that language, and meanwhile, you are starting to introduce English now as an oral language, greeting in English. They don't need to write.
Pole too.
Yeah, pole too. By the time they are in grade 2, they are already now able to hold simple conversations in English, even when they can't write it. But meanwhile, you introduce them to reading and to math and to basic science in that language that they were speaking. So that then at grade 4, you are now able to transition
Right.
Into a new language.
to English, and already they read fluently in the language that they were speaking, and they've started. And because our symbols are the same, we are very lucky that we are not India,
Yeah.
where the script is different from the English. So transitioning now becomes very easy into what we call now the language 2 or 3, which will be English.
Does CBE do this in any way, shape, form, sort?
Does KICD recognize?
That is what the policy says.
Uh-huh.
But because of pressure of parents, because of lack of accountability, but because of lack of materials also. Like when I was growing up, we learned reading I learned reading in Kikuyu, and we used to read. And those TKK books disappeared at some point. And so bringing now those materials back is a cost, of course, and we know we have a cash issue the education gets a big budget, but then the money is still not enough to do some of these things. So I think there is a lot of now hope, if especially the ECDE teacher and the grade 1, 2, 3 teachers know how to break these things. Mathematics doesn't need to be that hard.
It doesn't.
No.
Okay. The fact that we've decided to break it down makes me think of how we not only teach it, but how we resource it, right? And I'm thinking, that's why I was asking if CBE recognizes, for example, yes, that your first language might not be English. Could be Kiswahili, could be your mother tongue. That's fine. But how do we resource mathematics as a country? And I'm thinking 844 was cram, you know? And mathematics is not something you can cram. It's something you need to understand. Yeah. How do we resource math? It's also not that it requires a lab. So I can see how it can be overlooked. You know, you don't need birikas, nini. You have a chalk and a board. They can just forget about you.
I think what was described as a very theoretical approach is a problem, because children have to start learning from concrete. Counting actual things, multiplying in groups of actual things. So PP1, PP2, grade 1
math should
has
be visual.
to be very concrete. And these are the things we call manipulatives, things they can move around.
Right.
So water bottle tops, so teachers need to have a lot of these things. Weather sticks, don't send them when you are teaching to go and collect stones. Prepare nice stones. Prepare nice things in your class so that everywhere there are things to count and multiply, and then use their bodies to, learn, make it very concrete. But then, at the same time, move this now to what we call semi-concrete, so that half of it you're using concrete, but you're also now starting to internalize things.
Right.
So that by grade 3, you are now withdrawing the concrete, and you are building now that mental math.
Okay.
That now you are building a smooth transition. So this transitioning doesn't happen. You'll find children in grade 4, 5 still counting fingers. You can't be counting fingers in grade 5, surely.
Thank you for pointing that out, because that's another thing that we've been looking at. It's our... For example, are we reading and doing arithmetic at the correct levels? And there's been a few studies coming out, and this is a global problem. I think we discussed it with Latif another time, that children are being transitioned grade to grade without essentially being at the right arithmetic or reading level. And it's one coming from a place of teachers are afraid of parents, so they don't want to tell that the parents that your child needs to stay behind. They're overwhelmed. Sometimes a class of 60, When you look at how our arithmetic levels are, that thing you mentioned of, okay, you're in grade 4, you're counting on your fingers, you shouldn't be. Do you have like concrete data on how math especially is being handled, and if we're graduating at the right levels? So are people doing the right level of arithmetic for their year? Yes.
One of the research we did was analyzing errors that children in grades 1 and 2 and 3 make, because there's a lot of knowledge from the errors that somebody makes.
Okay.
But what you find is that teachers, when I give you a problem to solve, I will just come back, right or wrong, for many of them, all wrongs. But I'm not paying attention to what they are getting right and what they are getting wrong. And yet that's where now the information is.
Right.
Because what you are getting wrong, it means the way I introduced it, you didn't get. So you find that 93% of children in grade 2 are making errors that we can call factual. They, I was in the process of adding, but I didn't add correctly. So it tells you that there is something that they skipped, and so we have used these errors now to work backwards. To look at how better do we introduce these things. Like I tell you, a lot of the things that people don't get, and that's why they from our research we have seen now struggles going into upper primary, is something called place value. Okay. Ones, we have tens, we have hundreds. So if it is 74 minus 4, or 74 minus 11, you know, the 4 and 1, when you arrange them vertically, first of all, you have to arrange them vertically so that you have the ones and the tens. When you are minusing now 7 and 1, it's not 7 and 1. It's 70 and 10. So differentiating this now, because that's now a little abstract, then you will struggle all through. So place value in the way it is introduced. Now you'll find them struggling even now later on in calculus and other things, because it's the same thing that now continues becoming more and more, graduates to more and more abstract. So like if and I think we are in a really nice country. We can do amazing things here, because even when I'm talking about the 50,000 E's, it sounds a lot, but consider that this was out of 1 million candidates. So when you look at the number of A's, it's actually also substantial. And some of these A's are coming from sub-county schools, day schools. So if we were to pay attention to those teachers that are able to post an A from a day school, that teacher is very good. In fact, those are the people with solutions, not the John Mugos who are just here talking.
You're theorizing.
These teachers are there.
Right.
And if you are to get such 10 teachers, bring them in a room like this one, tell them, we know calculus is a problem. Tuonyesheni vile mna introduce calculus kwa watoto wenu, because we know your children are the ones that failed primary. You look at the method that those 10 teachers are using, I'm telling you, we will crack calculus that everyone can get a B in calculus.
But have you attempted this? Like, have you, even if not bringing them in a group, right? When you're interacting with teachers, because you do interact with teachers, you're interacting with teachers from national schools, class category 1, all the way to category 4. Have you been able to see that in those teachers from the sub-county day schools, whose learners are doing very well, whose learners seem to love math on account, like Mariam said, of the teacher, and then picked out what is it about the teacher?
There are teachers who are gifted. There are teachers who take time. You spoke about 60 learners. There's this teacher that I visited in Kirinyaga, teacher Lucy, who had 103 kids
in a class.
103.
But the untold story of the 103 is that it's because parents of the neighboring school have heard about her, so they keep bringing now kids
transferring to this school.
But it's because teacher Lucy knows how to teach children how to read. And how to do these things. And those 103, she's able to, by the end of grade 1, she's a grade 1 teacher, by the end of grade 1, all of them can read.
Wow.
And so there are teachers who have solutions.
How does she do it?
So the way she does it is, first of all, of course, you can't even know names of all the 103. It will take you a whole year. By the time you are knowing them, they are moving to the next class. So she has this way of cutting cartons and helping them to write their names and putting strings. So you know the way we appear in workshops, is the way her class looks.
They have name tags.
Tags.
So that if you raise your hand, she can say, John,
she says,
Okay.
So, and the kids now feel motivated, you know? And then she's able to group them into like 3 groups. There are those that move at the right speed. I introduce, they have gotten it. So those ones, I just give an assignment and they continue doing more of that thing. Then there's a middle group that needs just a bit of push. So she'll give a general assignment. The ones who are moving at the right speed, maybe 20%, she lets them. Then she comes to group 2, demonstrates a little bit, and then gives them work. But there's a group 3 who, even despite all this, they will need attention. And she calls them her angels. So she'll call now her angels, and she knows them, to the chalkboard, to the blackboard. she will be working with them, and she'll be making things concrete and working, and meanwhile paying attention to the ones who are moving at the right speed will start making noise. She goes and adds them more work. Comes back to the board. So she understands every learner and understands that there is diversity in the class. When I introduce something, a general concept, not everyone gets. There are those that will get. There are those that will need another. So by the end of her half day, 12:30, when the day is ending, she has actually worked with these 3 groups of learners in a way that they are all moving.
Right.
And so these teachers, these Kenyan teachers are there, and that's why I feel that we struggle with things I think we shouldn't struggle with, because we don't look solutions in the right place.
There's something that you raise here about this teacher, Lucy. You can sense that she has passion, that she's driven, that she is content with being a teacher for these grade ones. This is what she wants to do, and she's loving doing it. Vis-a-vis what we've done to our education system over time. And I'm going to quote my friend Siti Muga. Siti, every time when we had a show, and he's a teacher. He was a teacher by training, by practice, and for many years. And he talked about there are people who would be in class because they wanted to become teachers. They went to university to study education, or they went to teacher training colleges to study being a teacher, and they love being teachers. They love it. We have one fixer here called the Kikombe. He's a teacher, and from just listening to him, he loves being a teacher. And then there's what our education system started doing in the 80s into the 90s, into the early 2000s, where those who have scored a certain grade are the ones who go into BE, bachelors of education, blah, blah, blah. Or don't go into university, so you go into the college.
The teacher training
and
college.
the only available colleges were the teacher training colleges. So
or KMTC.
Or KMTC. In fact, even the KMTC were not many in the 90s, there were just few. So the TTCs were a bit more. So you find that people are just ending up there as a pathway, not of their choice, but where they've been taken. So we have now teachers who are in school who are on doing, this job is a placeholder for them. I'm still hoping that I can
get something
I can
else.
pursue something else what I want to do. So they don't have the passion, they don't have the patience. They are not going to cultivate a patience. Some may, but there are many who will not. So we end up with now teachers who are really not teachers. They are workers in a classroom, in a school. How do we bring that back into actually encouraging people who have a passion and have a good talent at teaching and explaining to go to class and to reward them and to remunerate them well, so that we can encourage them. You actually have a passion for this. You can be a teacher and you shall be respectable in society.
But
You shall be well remunerated.
we are dealing with one issue which is quite unique, or I don't know whether to call it peculiar. That right now, what you call BE, we used to call it B.Ed.
Yes.
Is the most popular course. So even in this era,
most sought after.
Yes, even in this era where you fill in courses in the secondary school, you are given 2 chances to revise through COOPs, and still they remain with education. And we don't know why. We have now around 230,000 young people who are studying education either in university or in the 37 teacher training colleges. And until now, the other day, there was a conference in Mombasa that was saying we need now to cap.
Yeah, there are too many teacher trainees.
We need to stop the education training. Because the TSC is not absorbing them, private schools are not absorbing them. And then I said, no, wait. We cannot go to make decisions for young people without consulting them. So I worked with a colleague, Charles, who, with some deans of education in some universities, did a quick survey. We created a Google form, circulated it to the universities, the deans of education, who pushed that to the students, and we got around 6,800 responses.
Okay.
And we were asking them, so you know that there are no jobs. Why are you studying?
Okay.
Was this even your choice?
Yeah.
And all that. And they were saying, yes, I know it was my choice and I'm studying it. And I know I won't get a job, but I'll look for something else to do. So the reason why we realized they pick education as a course of training is for other reasons. Because in education, you'll have a little bit of psychology, a little bit of economics, a little bit of sociology, a little bit of political science, a little bit of... It's like a nice collection.
Yes, of everything.
And that's why you find
that
many
allows you to literally do anything or branch into anything.
You understand people, you're able to speak because you know teaching is also communication.
Yes.
You'll have all these skills. And so they will now look for work in the banks or, you know, in the media houses or other places. but you see, that is not the way to go. Because then it means that probably then these other careers ought also to consider how to diversify and change the training. But that was not your question. Let's get back to your question. There are many teachers.
How do we get?
There are many teachers in our schools who are trapped.
Yes.
Yeah.
They don't like teaching, you know, some even hate it. The way they speak to students from the time you enter class, you are quarreling them or whatever, and teachers are hoping you won't come, the learners are hoping you won't come today. They celebrate when you are sick. You know. I think those are people who need help. Because then there is a category 3 which is in between. There are people that were pushed into teaching and they ended up loving it. Just like like anyone else. You may have come to broadcasting, to media without knowing whether it's your thing. Then when you started doing it,
you discovered that you were meant to be.
Actually, this thing is good, and you settled.
Yes.
So I think even those teachers could be supported to settle. Because when you are collaring students, insulting them, making them feel bad instead of making learning fun and making every learner love it, then you are actually messing up with the future.
Very true.
Of society. So probably we should have that, I am taking it now to think for myself, whether we should identify those teachers and see how to help them, because they also need a job. So if you announce and you told them resign, they won't resign. They won't. They need a job.
Right? But then also, yes, is it a disservice to the learners? There's a whole other conversation to be had there. I want to get back into the mathematics a little bit. There's not a debate really. We're just tugging with Eric a little bit on whether mathematics should have been made compulsory in senior school with these new pathways.
Should I learn mathematics all my life?
In short,
all my learning life.
No, you shouldn't. The reason why that debate came from, let me tell you, and it's where we started in this conversation. Because the foundation has failed. We want then to make mathematics a fate of everyone.
Right.
Because grade 1 to 9 years of learning mathematics, you should have the mathematics you need for life. But because when you go to grade 4, give them a division, and we launched the Flana report the other day, 60% will not be able to do simple division even by grade 5. So we are dealing with a different problem. Yeah.
2 divided by 1.
Yeah, like 12 divided by 3.
Okay.
You know those
by
those
grade
kind
5.
of things. Yeah. They are still struggling. So the problem we are fixing, we are having the right solution for the wrong problem.
The wrong problem, yeah.
If we fixed quality so that by end of grade 3, the 4 operations of adding, subtracting, multiplying and dividing are covered, then by grade 6, now when you are doing CAPSEA, we have brought in now this, algebra, this a little bit of abstraction. In junior school, by grade 9, everyone has mathematics that you need for life. So that then the pathways, the way they were designed initially, would have people going to, intensify language,
Right.
and
Sports.
the arts or sports and all that, because you have covered the mathematics you needed. You have covered, it's like saying that everyone needs to study history up to the end. You don't need to, because by grade 9, the history you needed to do, you have covered it.
Yeah.
Or the science, knowing why the sun sets from there and here, and those general concepts
And
of science.
photosynthesis.
Photosynthesis and all those are covered by grade 9.
Yeah.
Then you can now start moving to areas of your talent and interest.
Okay. No, that was it had been on my mind. It's good. I do agree. I wonder, the thing I think about is whether we will sufficiently teach mathematics to these learners to the point where by the time they're in grade 9, they have the math they need for life. That's the gap for me. It's not thinking that, people need to do math, up until senior school. It's by the time we are letting them choose their pathways, do they have a foundation that is solid? So that's, for me, the worry.
The foundation is weak as we speak, and not just in math, but in all learning areas. The foundation is weak. And so the program that we are now coming up with is fixing the foundation. Is getting to the ECDE teachers and working with them, enabling them to make things concrete.
Yeah.
And use the right language, so that by the time the children are moving to grade 1, they have what is called pre-number. Those appreciation. They can count 1 to 9. They know big and small. They know these are 5 and these are 5. They know those concrete things around math.
Yes.
Then grade 1 to 3. We are doing several things. One of them is now developing those instructional approaches for certain things, like now what you are saying, carrying over or taking away, using something that learners can understand easily,
Right.
and a method and an approach that makes it possible for even the slowest.
Okay.
Then having materials now that are interpreting the curriculum and guiding the teacher on this, and then assessment. We assess too late, because as a teacher is teaching, what I was saying, marking right and wrong, that's data. You are collecting data to use in the next lesson.
Right.
But also at the end of the term, at the end of the year, having feedback to teachers and at the school level, knowing that this is what we need to improve on.
Okay.
This is working, this is not.
Yeah.
I have a question, Mwalimu. Why do we teach math the way we do? And I'm saying, you see there, you said, how you do it vertically, the tens, the ones, right? If it's 1,000, the tens, the ones. Because, I don't know, you've seen those videos of the way we do our math calculations versus some Asian countries and how they do theirs, and it's completely different.
And it's so easy.
And it shows like theirs is, I don't get it, but like they're getting their answer faster than our style of doing it.
I think they're flowing.
Yeah.
That's what we are getting to now.
What?
The changing the way we introduce things. Because we don't have to stick by the way we have always done it if it's not working.
Yeah.
And what we know now, the only information we have now is that it's not working. Because it cannot be working when it's only 30% that are getting it. How about the 70%?
Yes.
So we are getting now to an overhaul, whether it's the Asian way, whether it's the other one, like there's the schools my children went to, instead of saying take away, they were putting it in the head.
Oh.
So they're not writing up there.
No. They are saying
So
one in the head.
3.
Yeah, one in the head,
One in the
and
head.
4 here.
Oh.
So and they were getting it.
It's interesting.
So there are these approaches that we are going to work with. And looking at how different things are introduced, and using now research and data to say, this is working for 70%, this one is working for 40, this one is working for 10, this one is working for 80%, and now changing the way things are introduced so that we are able to move from 30% to at least 80% by 2030.
Is KICD receptive to ideas?
Very receptive. Very receptive. The KICD, the Ministry of Education, we even have a Center for Mathematics and STEM, Semaster, the one in Karen. We are all working together, even with county.
Semaster.
Even with county governments, because ECD teachers, are employed by county governments. Yes. They are all very receptive. Everyone wants to improve education. And I think there's that nice convergence that we can all work together to make this happen for our children.
All right. We're wrapping up the interview. We literally have 2 minutes to go. I just wanted to know, there's always this question that comes out of, why do I need to learn mathematics, the rudimentary way? So people will say, why can't I use my calculator? Do you want me to go back to using an abacus, or I don't know what, or you want me to count with my fingers, or it's a logbook. Things like that. Just from a foundational perspective, dispel this idea that people don't want to do foundational math.
It has something to do with the brain. You've seen research saying that the brain seems to be shrinking with technology. And I think it's because we don't train the brain fast to work things out. We are going for the things that others have created too fast.
Yeah.
So the mental math I referred to is very critical. So if you give a 7-year-old to be using a calculator, then you're not helping their brain to grow in appreciating numbers and working with numbers. But the way statistics is taught, for instance, at the university, I think now cramming formulas and all those things we did earlier is now not necessary. Because if everyone has covered the foundations and you have the mental math to the level that is needed, then why cram? So I think at the foundational level, especially in primary school, we need to still make the brain work.
Yes.
Because it's opening something in the brain.
Creating neural pathways.
Yes, pathways. But now in this abstract level, we need to understand, not cram.
I like that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. It's been a wonderful conversation with John Mugo, the Executive Director of Mizizi Elimu. We are just about to mark it's International Mathematics Day.
International Mathematics Day
on Saturday. Yeah. All right, thank you so much, Mwalimu, for spending the morning with us. And of course, we do hope that International Mathematics Day goes fantastic. We have to wrap up the conversation now, but we will leave you in the capable hands of Miriam Wikali and Winnie Lubembe on Your World. Is it a glow or a gimmick, Eric? Which one is it? The skincare
glow or gimmick? That's 11 to 12. They'll have that conversation.
Yes.
Interesting one, the skincare boom of the business.
Yes.
But at 10 a.m. to 11, they are going to have a conversation with young women in Kenya's assholes, the arid and semi-arid lands of the country.
Right.
There are 3 guests who will be joining them, just talking about what the young women are actually doing and bringing that experience into the studio. So see you tomorrow. Brian and Claudia on Nation FM coming up next from 10 a.m. Tomorrow, Friday, tutakuwa papa hapa ama mahali popote tutakapokuwa.
From wherever.
We'll be fixing the nation. Have a lovely day.